Welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna dive right in it. We're gonna be talking about living in tomorrow. And if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes, but this is something that fell on my spirit last night. And I'm like, I gotta make a video about this because I know everybody's going through this, especially during this time. So I thought this could be helpful for somebody. The scripture reference, the scripture that dropped in my spirit for what we're going to be talking about, it says, take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. And that's Matthew 6:34, KJV version. And so this scripture is really powerful to me because it's telling us to not worry about tomorrow, but focus on today. You know, we have so many things to worry about in one day alone, and we're always overwhelming ourselves and becoming anxious about what's to come till tomorrow, that we're unable to live in the present. And that's something that I've been struggling with. So I'm just going to be going over a few things that keep us from not living in the present or living in tomorrow, as I'm going to say. So the first thing is not appreciating where you are. I struggle with this because I'm always thinking about how I can do better instead of appreciating what I'm already doing. And that leaves you in a place where a lot of times you're really not content because you're always trying to outdo what you've already done. You know, you're not looking at how far you've came, where you've come from to where you are today. You're not acknowledging the growth that you made. So you're always looking into the future instead of appreciating where you are in this moment. Another thing about living for tomorrow is we're not appreciating all the precious moments that are passing us by. So for example, like for my son, in the past, because now I'm not working, but before I was just always work, work, work. I barely got to spend any time with him. Then, you know, at times we'd have overtime or we'd do weekends. And that was really hard because I missed some of, you know, those really special moments. I didn't really get to take those in. And the next thing I knew, I woke up and now he's 5, about to be 6. And so it's like, wow, where did all the time go? And I don't think I really got to take in all those major like growth moments. It's just now that he's about to be 6, I just look back on my life and I'm like, wow, you know, instead of really living in that. And I think that's something that we can regret later on because we're so focused on trying to pay bills and keep everything together that we're not really fully taking in and appreciating the people that are around us. And then one day we look up and, you know, God forbid those people aren't here with us any longer. And we think, you know what, these bills, these jobs, and you'll realize you didn't really get to take in those moments and appreciate the people that you had around you. And you'll notice that everything that you put as priority really wasn't a priority, you know? And so that can cause like a lot of regret. And yeah, we don't want to deal with that. So let's appreciate people while they're here, appreciate the moments we share with people, even the smallest things, you know, let's take all those things in. So the next point I wanted to make was always looking ahead to the next best thing. That kind of links to what I said in my first point. We make our accomplishments seem like they're never enough. Like, okay, what I've done now, I could do better. I could top that, you know, and just instead of just saying, job well done, and celebrating that and living in that moment, we're looking at other people to see what they're accomplishing, and you know, maybe I should be doing what they're doing, and just not taking in where you are and realizing that we each are on our own path, and what you accomplish, no matter how small or big to other people, it's your accomplishment. Only you know what you've been through. Only you know how you've got to that point. And even if it may be little to you, even if it may be little to somebody else, it could really be big for you because you know everything that you went through just to accomplish that one small thing. So it actually makes it a big thing, you know? So really just start appreciating yourself and not always looking to others and what they're doing, because you don't know their path and you don't know what they had to go through to get there as well. Okay. And then Another tip I want to say is when when we're outside and stuff, like, let's start taking in our surroundings. I'm a big nature person. I love being in fresh air. I love being in the park, by the water, near a tree, anything. And it really provides healing. Scientifically, it's proven that it provides healing. And I already believe that before. Everything that God has created is here for healing, or it's a tool. You know what I mean? It's like we look for other things to give us healing. Sometimes we look to our people to fill our voids. We may look to substances to fill our voids. But God has given us everything here to do that. He's given us himself, and he's put things here on earth that, he's grown naturally to get us through those things. And just be present when you're outside, because sometimes we can go outside and we're still on our phone. We got our head down, we slouched over, we're not even looking up. Look up, taking your surroundings. Make eye contact with people, not in a creepy way. Don't make strangers and stuff feel uncomfortable. But a quick smile, hey, how you doing? Keep it pushing. You don't have to be awkward and have a whole conversation with a stranger, but just appreciate people. You never know what your smile can do. You never know what your eye contact can do. You never know what acknowledging people that you pass by on the street can do, because we don't know what people are going through. And sometimes, people can be on the verge of suicide, especially now. Depression, mental health is going up because of, all this quarantine and, the distance and things like that. And so you passing somebody on the street, maybe they can't see you with their mask, but just a head nod and just acknowledging them can mean a lot to somebody. It really could. It really just, some people want to be, want to feel seen. And I think that's really important now. Just eye contact. Like I said, if you got your mask on, they can't see your smile. Just a head nod, just acknowledging them. Hey, how you doing? I'm sure they can hear that through the mask, but just something that can really lift somebody's spirits. I think that's really important. And as far as like being in nature, really what heals me, and it also strengthens my faith, is I like to do prayer walks, so I'm talking to God, and then I'm stopping and I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at animals. I mean, from the squirrels to the birds. Sometimes I'll record and take video footage, like how they move, how they gather their food, how alert they are when, you walk close to them. They don't even have to look at you. They're just like, their senses. You know what I mean? Like, it really strengthens your faith, because you just see how everything in nature has a purpose and an order, you know what I mean? And how, I don't know, just the simplicity. I don't want to get deep, but it's just so much healing I get, and I'm just strengthened in that. And it reminds me, again, it really relates to this topic, how we're always living in tomorrow instead of today, being present, and how simple really life can be. Also, when we're in nature, or even if you're not like at a park, you just outside walking or whatever, even taking out the trash, like, focus on taking deep breaths. It's something about breathing in and breathing out that it just lifts this weight off of your chest. Sometimes you can wake up and your heart is heavy and you're just anxious, and you have all these things running through your mind of your to-do list. Just stopping and breathing and taking deep breaths, one after the other, is just like a release, Also doing that, if you feel yourself getting angry or you're getting irritated, just stopping, close your eyes, and taking those deep breaths. It really helps. And these things sound so simple, but they're simple things that we just don't do, and we let things bottle up. We have our heads down in our phones. We're not taking in our surroundings. We're not taking deep, heavy breaths. We're not meditating, and that takes a toll on your body, and that keeps you in the present moment and not focused and worried about all these things you need to do. Okay. And then the last thing is to stop being in fear of losing and not measuring up. I think, like, we can't enjoy the present because We're in fear of what tomorrow brings. We're, you know, as humans, we have the fear of the unknown, you know, and we're always worried about failing. We're worried about if we don't have the money for this bill and how I'm gonna eat this and how I'm gonna do this and what career path should I take and what's my purpose, and all these things, they just really, really overwhelm us and keeping us just living like that, just living in fear and being anxious. You can't enjoy today. If everything is taken care of today, why worry about tomorrow? Let tomorrow worry about itself. And that's how that, you know, that's what the scripture was telling us as well. It's like, okay, something, you feel like a bad day is up ahead. Well, what's worrying about it today gonna do for tomorrow? And a lot of the things that we worry about doesn't even come to pass. So we just stripped ourselves of today, worrying about the next day, and then the next day those things didn't even happen. So now you ruined your yesterday, and you ruining your pretty much part of today too, you know. And just give yourself permission to fail and to make mistakes, and to trust God. You know, it's very, very overwhelming. We always hear that all the time, like trust God, but we really don't do it, and we take on all this burden onto ourselves because we're trying to control everything. You can't control the future. You can't control, you can plan to the best of your ability, but even when you plan to the T, when the next day comes, those plans may not pan out exactly how you had them written down. You know, we cannot control everything, and we have to learn to let go of some of that control. Control what you can and let go of what you can't. And it sounds easy. It's definitely not, obviously, but we have to start training our mind. We have to start speaking those affirmations and reminding ourselves that, you know what? Give me the grace to control what I can and let go of what I can't, so that I can enjoy today. You know, I want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy where I am. I don't want to let this long to-do list overwhelm me. Let me take care of, on that list, what's a priority. Maybe pick 2 or 3 things per day to really, really focus on, instead of trying to focus on everything. And while you're doing those things, even if it's things you really don't like, really take it in, really live in that moment, feel the air, feel the ground under your feet, like just the little things, you know, when you hug your kids or you hug your loved one, like really rest in that hug, because those hugs are not going to last forever. You know, we all clock out of here at some time. Life is just full of memories, but you want those memories to be fulfilling, and you want to be full, and you just want to appreciate all these gifts that we have in life. You know, that's important. And if you make this a daily practice, some of these things will start to come natural. You know, as we're always going to be, you know, worried or anxious about something, but there's ways to really lower that pressure, you know. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say about that today. Yeah, just really focus on living in today and not living in tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.